Hi anybody, welcome into the channel JaysBucket. I'm Jay, and as always, I got my building buddy Jay hanging out here with me whenever I build. Welcome into what I call a podcast here. I call this one Bucket Life, and I'm looking at my page and I don't have a title for this one yet, so it'll be a surprise what the title is for this one. But yeah, this is where I kind of talk about Lego a little bit, and I try and talk about some other things as well. One thing to mention about Jay, Matt ended up giving me a really good suggestion, and I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. Matt is always got good ideas going, but he told me to, give Jay some accessories for each different build that we do here. So last build we did was the castle stream, and I ended up giving him a little metal looking helmet and a sword. So today he's got a microphone for the podcast, so maybe that'll be his traditional item to hold for the podcast. But I thought that was a great idea, so we're going to try and have a little container here of minifig accessories for Jay to swap in and out from. So yeah, there you go. On my channel here, JaysBucket, I do Sunday live builds every single Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And to be honest, I think this next one coming up is the climax of my channel. This is going to be probably my favorite live build that I will ever do on my channel. There's only one other thing that can top it, I think, and that is when I hit 10,000 subs and build the giant castle, the Lion Knight's castle. But anyhow, what I also do is I do a weekly bucket stream as well, where I build different sets that are bigger throughout the week, and some are instance like 3-in-1 castle that's right here. That was the first one. We just finished it. What are we, a couple weeks in here to January? We finished our first variant of that one, so that was pretty cool. This week's weekly bucket build will be on Tuesday, so hopefully y'all want to come back. I actually still haven't even decided what set I'm going to build for that yet. I'm torn between if I build all three of the 3-in-1 castle variants back to back to back and just have them all done and complete, or if I switch it up. I do castle and then I switch it up for a different set, and then I go back to castle, switch it up for a different set, and then back and finish off the castle. You can let me know in the comments below what you would prefer to see, because I'm really torn on what to do. I don't know, and I don't have long to figure it out, but we'll get there eventually. All right, my thoughts for this week is, it's kind of funny how everyone's kind of ending up with a job on my channel. Sometimes I wonder, how am I a live streamer? I've never done this before other than the past couple of years. I think I can be fairly charismatic on screen. My job, I think, has definitely helped me with that, with dealing with customers and stuff. But sometimes I sit back and I wonder, like, how am I doing this? How is this even happening? We got everyone in the chat here. They got their own jobs. We got George. He's always giving me water time reminders, and my throat should tell me that, but nope, George is the one that ends up telling me that. And then when George isn't here, other people kind of have to take over for George. And then we got Scott with the Biscoff reminders. Matt is now going to be the official CMF reminder at the end of the streams, hopefully, because I need to remember to open those up. Then we got Joshy B, Life with the Crazies. They are poll reminders, because I always forget to check my poll out at the end of the stream. It boggles my mind sometimes how I forget to do all these things. But you guys are great. You guys are amazing. You help me out. And, it's just goes to show how much of an awesome community we have going here. So I really appreciate all of you for being my reminders for whatever it ends up being. All right, weekly shout out. This one has to almost go to Mrs. Bucket. As I was writing out my notes for this one, I was debating on Mrs. Bucket or two other people, and then I wrote Mrs. Bucket down here for another section, and then I had to write Mrs. Bucket down for another section at the end. So I'm like, well, if I talk about her that much and then don't give her the shout out, I don't know. Mrs. Bucket, though, has been awesome throughout my entire YouTube career. There's been some highs and some lows for sure with it, but she's pretty much always been there for me, and she's always supported me with it. So she officially made her debut on the channel just last Sunday, I believe it was, and completely unbeknownst to me, I had no clue that she was going to come in with a Mrs. Bucket chat there. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious when I saw it. I thought that was great. She watches all the streams, but I was not expecting her to come through with a Mrs. Bucket chat. So that was pretty awesome. So thank you to Mrs. Bucket. She's always been there for me. This one is for you. All right, let's move over to the Stud-tastic Voyage. And boy, do we have a few of them this week. Oh my goodness, we have so many actually. So we have the double-decker bus stream where we had him coming in with orange in the Michigan mitten, and I didn't even know what they meant by that. When I looked up the map, you can totally see Michigan looks kind of like a mitten, so I thought that was pretty funny. Then we got Jeff Krasulak, which I hope I pronounced his name correct again. They mentioned in the stream that I did, so I hope I did it justice there once again. Green down in Delaware, so that was pretty cool as well. Then we have Lego Kid, who has been here a few times, and I thought for sure that they got themselves a stud on the map, but apparently they hadn't. So red in Colorado for Lego Kid, that was pretty neat. I thought that was cool. Then we went to Delwyn, which came in with a blue stud up in Alberta. So we got another Canadian viewer there. That was pretty cool. And then here's the second mention for Mrs. Bucket. She came in and I basically told her she has to get a stud on the map. She wanted to get a pink flower down in Australia because her reasoning was she's never going to be able to take a plane for that long and travel down there, so her stud might as well be down there. So she's down there hanging out with Mayo and a few others. So there you go. Then I was invited onto JC Brick's stream earlier this week. It was just out of the blue. I started a work shift a bit later than most days, and I was down here sorting some Lego, and I saw that JC Bricks was streaming, so I pop on the stream, and I was like, hey, how's it going, guys? And I mentioned in there that, I start work a bit later today, and Joshy B's like, JC, you gonna ask him the question? And I'm like, ask him the question? What is going on here? Okay, all right. And then JC's like, hey, do you want to come and join the panel and be on the stream with us? And I was like, well, how can I say no to that? Like, this is almost... I did not expect that at all. So while I was on JC's stream there, we had a couple chatters in there. Well, one chatter that's been on my channel before, and I'm not sure if they already have a stud. I have to go back and double check because there's already a green stud in South Carolina for Tammy and Ray, which is Mom and Son Train Rail fans. There's already a green stud right here. I don't know if that was theirs or not from one of the Christmas streams. I got to go back and verify. But if not, welcome to the map. And then I got Dragon Lover and she was on the panel in JC stream. I got her to get a blue stud in North Carolina there. So I thought that was pretty cool. We got another panel member on the map from JC stream. So that was really cool. Shout out to JC for inviting me on the stream. That was really, really neat. Thank you very much for that. And then lastly, we just had the castle stream, which would have been yesterday as I'm filming this. And we had Charisse Brown come in red in the USA. A very broad answer, but that's okay. You're on there anyways. They came right in at the end of the castle stream there, so I thought that was pretty neat. So a huge amount of people joining the map this week. I think that is awesome. Loving the Stud-tastic Voyage. I think it's so much fun. All right, shout out to George. We are going to get a water break in here for my lungs. The lungs and the throat. Okay. We're going to move over to new bricks in the bucket. And what we're going to do here is, I just can't explain enough how excited I am for these Life on Mars sets. Again, they're not 100% complete. These are sets from my childhood that I had for a long time. Had them separate from all my other Lego. Eventually gave in, let the kids play with them. They got destroyed and then thrown in the bin. And now, years and years later, I finally pieced them all back together. And again, I just cannot explain how excited I am for these sets. I think it is so cool. So yeah, that's coming this Sunday. You may not be as excited for that stream, but I just can't express it enough. All right, shout out number 3 here for Mrs. Bucket, because Mrs. Bucket came up with a really neat idea later last weekend, I believe it was. And And she told me the idea, and at first I was like, I don't know, I don't know how that'll go. But after we thought about it and we discussed it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm not going to say what it is quite yet. I'm going to leave some suspense there because I do want to, what we have to do is we have to order a bunch of parts to get this done. So I've ordered kind of the starting bits of the parts. I don't have all of them because all of them would have been way too expensive to do in one shot. So I ordered just enough to do a little bit of this. And it's a thing where we can slowly, gradually do this idea that she has. So we've ordered those parts. They're going to be coming in really soon. As soon as I get those parts and can kind of create the first little bit of this, then I will announce it to everyone. But I think it's a really cool idea. Along with that order, we got one set coming that I'm not going to mention because it will be live built real soon. But I did want to say we got that set to get the gift with purchase, the Valentine's Day gift with purchase. So you guys can know that definitely around Valentine's Day, I will be building that little, this looks like a little heart box of chocolate almost, the gift with purchase there. So I think that one's pretty cool. But along with that, I'll be building a second set as well. So let's go ahead and check. We'll do the OBS Void of Doom, and then we will go over to the Lego site, and let's check and see what's coming in. I have heard some things. I've heard some rumors about what's coming in here. Let's go to offers and sale first, and let's check out what is in here. Okay, so it is still just this gift with purchase and the double points. Let's just quickly check out the sales section because I do like to see if other things go on sale. It looks like we are still the same thing. Actually, I think that Ant-Man is now on sale. I think that's a new one. It's also on back order, so there you go. All right, but I have heard some pretty cool stuff is coming out. So let's go to coming soon, and we'll see if it's here. All right, it is there. Okay, the Lilo and Stitch Beach House. This thing looks awesome. $120 Canadian. Oof. But you know what? I think this might be one that I'm probably going to get. 834 pieces. CK was mentioning on the last stream that she wants me to build Stitch. Well, if I get this, I might have to build this one as well. This is pretty cool, though. 834 pieces, I think, would qualify for the weekly bucket streams just because we're over that 500 piece count. Sundays, I like to keep it to a little bit smaller sets, but this is a really neat looking set. So I think I'm going to enjoy that one. I do like Lilo and Stitch. It's a really good movie. So there you go. That's a pretty cool set coming soon. I love his spaceship. And I think, does he only has 2 arms, right? As the minifig, I believe. Yes, he only has 2 arms. So there's a CMF for Stitch, and he's got 4 arms, which he's an alien, and he does have 4 arms. So that's pretty standard, but I like that this one comes with 2 arms. All right, we got the trial chamber. That one looks new. Oh, we got the new, are these called wisps or whisks or something? Wisps, maybe? I think that's pretty cool. Cinderella's dress. This is neat. I assume that like twirls around, maybe? I don't know. Does it twirl? Does it move? I don't know. It opens up at the bottom, I guess. It's kind of cool. Mini doll Cinderella. Kind of neat. Probably won't be buying that. $50 Canadian. Not bad, though. Thunder Fang Dragon of Chaos. I don't think that's new, but it looks awesome. And we'll see what else. Maleficent and Cruella de Vil's dress. Okay, so they're going and continuing on with this. I kind of like Maleficent's dress there. That one looks pretty cool. Cruella's isn't bad. Cruella's really into fashion in the one movie. So that's understandable. Maleficent's dress looks really neat. Cinderella's is pretty iconic, but I think I like this set better if I were to build some of these. We got Winnie the Pooh's birthday party in Duplo. That's kind of funny. $25 for some Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and Tigger Duplo figures. That's pretty neat. Arc Dragon of Focus. I do really like the Ninjago theme. Really do. Silver minifig keychain. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Let's quickly check new. And I don't know if I should scroll through all of these, but the Nether Lava Battle, Twilight Cullen House. Let's go to pre-order. Let's just check that. Where was that? Under pre-order. Flower arrangement, I don't think that's new. And Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, that's really nice. Very cool looking set. I do like these big car builds. I just don't have the space to display them. I've never built one of these actually. I wonder what they'd be like to build. They are Technic. I don't know if this one's Technic. This one's not Technic. No, the Corvette's Technic. 732 pieces and 1,639 pieces. That's pretty crazy. All right, well that seems to be it for the new stuff that's coming out. So let's go back to the void. We will come back to me here. All right, so there we go. That was new bricks in the bucket. Let's move on to the segment of the week. Not the thought, because I say thoughts earlier. Anyhow, I just want to quickly not get too in depth in it, but I don't know if there's a thing, maybe because I'm a male, I think it's because I'm a man, that we don't ever want to get our health checked out and make sure that we're in, good healthy condition. We never want to go to the hospital. We never want to go to the doctor and get things checked out, but it is just so important to make sure that you're staying healthy and staying around for everybody that's in your life. We recently just had a couple trips to the hospital. It wasn't anything too major, but it just kind of makes you sit back and have a thought about, making sure that you're keeping yourself healthy and in check. And like I said, I think as men, we tend to push things off and not want to go. And I've had some back pain issues in the past, and I'm always so hesitant to go and have anyone look at it, because I've went in the past, and I don't know exactly how I feel about chiropractors in general, but some are better than others. Just like any profession, there's always going to be someone out there who's better than somebody else, but I feel like the chiropractors I've went to in the past didn't really help me too much. I actually went to a chiropractor this morning and had my back looked at again, because I was kind of getting stiff again, and I've always kind of got a bit of lower back pain that I probably caused when I was young at one of my first jobs, lifting boxes and stuff, and then it's just kind of snowballed from there and never really gotten better. But I went to see this guy today, and at first he was giving me super basic things to do, and I was like, all right, if this is all he's going to tell me, like, I don't know how I feel about this. And as he was explaining it, he was like, you need to do these basic things to essentially break your habits that your back is up against all the time. And as he started explaining things more and more, I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I'll continue listening. And then we got into the let's try and crack your back and do those types of things. And that's when I was like, okay, this seems a little different than prior visits I've had and whatnot. But, I used to play a lot of ball hockey, and ever since I was a kid, to be honest, and I'm only in my mid-30s, but I've already kind of, I would say, I guess, given up on ball hockey a little bit, but I really don't want to. Now, YouTube has played a pretty big role in that, because I find I am spending a lot more time doing stuff for YouTube, and I can easily find an excuse to stay home from ball hockey and do something, shoot a video, do a live, organize my Lego, things in the background that you guys don't see sometimes. But I don't want to give up hockey, and my back, my knees have also been a pretty big part in that as well, because ball hockey's pretty hard on the knees, and everything's connected in your body, and I don't know if all of us really understand that sometimes. Like, the hip bone's connected to the knee bone, right? It's not, it's a real thing. And sometimes I think even I forget stuff like that. And my knees have been pretty bad in the past couple of years from playing so much ball hockey, and it's kind of shot the pain up to the lower back a little bit more. So I don't think I've really been helping myself out to get this lower back issue fixed, and I think it's something I definitely need to work on. And it's also kind of got me thinking about, it's not only that you need to make sure you're taken care of in your body. You need to kind of do it all the time. We need to watch the stuff we eat, and I know no one really ever wants to hear that, because you want to just be able to eat whatever you want and go. But I've really been noticing lately the things that I eat can affect how I sleep, and then that can affect something else, and it's all just a chain reaction of sometimes bad experiences that I'm hoping I can kind of change here. And one thing I used to do a lot was eat really late at night, and I've, in the past year, I would say I've really slowed down on eating pretty much anything past like 8 o'clock, at night. And I hope it's helping. I know eating late at night is a bad habit, and your body can't digest it as well. So I'm hoping that that's a good thing I've kind of started there to do. And I don't necessarily feel much different from that, other than, I do find like if I eat something too late, the sleeping isn't as great. So, and I think when we're younger, like, one, we don't think about some of these things, but two, we also don't register that, like, oh, that thing that I did affected this thing that happened. So I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize, like, the chain reaction stuff is real. And yeah, I mean, my buddy talks to me a lot about how he goes and gets checked for things, and I'm getting to that age where I think there's some checks that I have to kind of get done here soon, and I don't know how those are going to go, but we won't get into that one. But yeah, just, it's one of those things where hopefully you can make sure you're doing it for yourself first. The way I like to think about it is like the airplane analogy that people sometimes give you. It's like, if the plane's going down and you don't put your mask on first, you can't help anybody else, right? If you pass out from the air pressure difference, you can't help your kids beside you, or someone else who's beside you. So you got to take care of yourself first. And I think sometimes it's easy to overlook that and just realize that, like, if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of my kids, or I can't take care of Mrs. Bucket, or whatever it ends up being, right? So yeah, just a little kind of word here on making sure you're taking care of you, because it's something I've taken for granted in the past, and starting to kind of realize it is super important. So yeah, not trying to rant too long on it, but yeah, I just, with the couple hospital visits lately that we've had, and then also the back thing, I finally started to get looked at again. I just kind of wanted to bring that to the forefront here a little bit. So yeah, there you go. Keep yourself in good health, and make sure you get things checked up on. All right, let's go into the next clue for the next Sunday live build set. Now, I've only given one clue out this week, and that was completely unintended. I kind of forgot. I worked, like I said, I think it was Tuesday where I worked that later shift, and Tuesday is normally when I send out the first clue. Well, I forgot to take a picture of the little card that I, show on Sunday. I need to really get in the habit of showing the card, plopping it down, taking a picture of it so that it's on my phone. Yeah, I forgot to take the picture of that, so I didn't send out the clue Tuesday like I normally do. I ended up sending it out yesterday, and the clue was that the set numbers for these two sets, because there's two sets that I'm going to be building, with these Life on Mars sets. The set numbers are back to back. And I think I got one guess on it, which was JC. And I don't know if I worded the post very well. And I don't think I really advertised that I was going to build 2 sets. So I think this whole clue for this one is kind of not gone how I wanted it to a little bit. But I'm going to give you a very, very easy clue for the next one here. Because I don't like to keep you guys in suspense for too long. And I do like to put the live stream up before, too late. So my next clue for these 2 Life on Mars sets is that I'm pretty sure this is where my love of mechs started, because there was these Life on Mars sets that really caught my eye. And then there was a video game that I loved playing, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was all about mechs and capture the flag and whatnot. And now, as I'm coming back into Lego many, many years later, I just love Lego mechs. Like, Lego mechs are awesome. I think they're so cool. So yeah, there you go. Not the greatest clues this week for this one. I do apologize for that, but I think if someone throws a comment in this video, you'll easily be able to get which sets I'm going to be building, and I'm so excited for them. All right, we're going to quickly do Q&A, which this one I'm pulling out of the back pocket from Seth, because not one person asked me a question last week, which is okay. It's all good. It is what it is. But Seth did ask me 2 weeks ago how I met my wife and how she feels about YouTube. So here is the 4th thing about Mrs. Bucket that we're going to be chatting about here tonight. She gets the shout out. She gets the Studtastic Voyage stud on the map. She gets the shout out for New Bricks in the Bucket with coming with the idea. And now Seth has also asked me about how I met Mrs. Bucket and how she feels about YouTube. So I figured if I didn't give her the shout out, it would have been pretty awkward. Anyhow, Seth, how I met my wife. The good old internet. That's how I met her. I went on a dating site once and went on a couple dates with some people. They didn't work out. In my profile, I specifically said that, because I have kids that aren't hers, and I specifically said that I have kids, but you will not meet them for quite some time. It was like one of my main stipulations, and I think a couple of the other girls were like, "Why can't I meet your kids?" I was like, "Well, there's no reason to yet. Like, until we're good, there's no reason to." So anyhow, the thing with Mrs. Bucket is she messaged me. It was not the other way around. All the other girls that I had gone out with a couple times, I had messaged them, but she messaged me, and she mentioned that she liked that I had kids, and she couldn't meet them yet. And I was like, well, that's all right, cool. So we met up, and here it's been almost 10 years later. One of my kids is with her, so so we've been together for quite some time now. And how does she feel about YouTube? She says she's good with me being on YouTube, and I would think that she is perfectly fine. She's been very supportive over me having YouTube. I guess I can't fully know if she's ever, doesn't like any parts of it. Now, I did mention earlier, there's been some ups and downs, highs and lows with the YouTube channel here. There was a point where I was doing Maple Leafs game night reminders where I was literally down here in my room every other night for probably well over an hour and trying to get these, although they were shorts, it was a lot of work. I had behind here, I've got I've got these black, where am I? This way? Black curtains are right here. This is a black curtain. So behind this, I had another whole set of curtains set up, white curtains, where I'd have colorful lights behind them. And what I would do is I would film kind of like a Leafs side of things, and then I would try and do the other team that they were playing from their perspective. And I was trying to buy all these shirts for every single team in the NHL. I was buying Leaf shirts all the time, hats. And although they were only shorts, they were taking up a lot of time because to come down here, get all my lights set up, get which shirt I want to wear, figure out what I want to say, because every video was slightly different in who I'm going to predict to score and whatnot. And so I think those shorts, and you got to understand there's 82 games in a year plus the playoffs. So those shorts were taking up a lot of time, not only for her, but for the kids. And when I was gone, like, the kids were asking, like, hey, where's Dad? Why is he gone again, right? And it's like literally almost every other day. Sometimes I would try and get ahead of the game and record it, a day or two ahead of time if I could, so that it wasn't so often and so crazy busy. But then I would run into problems. This player would get injured, or they would get scratched, and I had already predicted them to score. So then I'd have to come down and re-record those. And it was like, what? Didn't you do that one already? Well, yeah, but this happened and blah, blah, blah. So I think with when I started doing that stuff, because it was so much all the time, I don't think she loved it at that point. With the Lego stuff, it's much more chill. We've got a schedule basically now. She knows I stream every Sunday. Sundays they're the Lego day now. Like, and even she says, like, there'll be the odd Sunday I don't stream for whatever reason. She'll be like, shouldn't you be streaming right now? Like, this is weird. Why aren't you downstairs, right? So I think that's kind of funny. We've now added the weekly bucket live builds that I've had to approve with Mrs. Bucket, and so far she's approved of them. But I kind of have a schedule now even for, like, the days of the week. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. I do work one day a week, a late shift, and it rotates every 4 weeks, so it's a different day every week. So I basically have to do the weekly bucket builds around the day that I work late. And Thursdays are basically occupied with the podcast, because I record these every Thursday night so that I can be as up to date with the Lego site as possible. Unless they release something Friday morning, which I have no control over. So Thursday nights are Bucket Life recording. Fridays I go and play my Lorcana game at my local game store almost every Friday. Saturdays are sometimes we'll watch hockey together, or sometimes we're doing, Saturdays are a hit or miss, whatever. Sundays are streams. Mondays are Mrs. Bucket's night. So Mondays, I'm usually not allowed to come down in the Lego room and do anything. Mondays, she's kind of claimed as Mrs. Bucket's night. Tuesdays, so Monday to Thursday are the days that rotate. So Mondays are hers. Tuesdays, if I work late the Tuesday, then Wednesday becomes the stream night. If I work late Wednesday, then Tuesday becomes the stream night. So, for instance, this week, I'm going to be working late Wednesday, so Tuesday will be the stream. This just past week, I worked late Tuesday, so Wednesday became the stream. So, Tuesday and Wednesday flip-flop, and that's why I'm going to just stick to Tuesday and Wednesday for these weekly buckets. Thursday is, we're right back to the podcast. So, my evenings are accounted for way ahead of time, and that's not even, like, after sup. So work, get home, supper, then I gotta spend a little bit of time with each kid, or try and sprinkle a little bit of time with each kid in there if I can. And that also includes putting the youngest to bed. Then the middle usually wants some attention. The oldest is mostly independent, but also needs attention as well. So yeah, my days are pretty crazy. And maybe if Cliff ends up watching this one, maybe that's why you can understand why I didn't jump on the fact of joining Clickin' and Brickin'. And I've even told Cliff, like, I need to sit down, and me and Cliff and Cow and even TMC Heather, I guess, we should probably sit down and have a little bit of a chat on what we can maybe do here, because I would love to join Clickin' and Brickin' on their podcast. I think it would be a lot of fun, but I just don't know if I can put the time into it. So that's there's the Q&A from Seth. Seth, I really appreciate you. You've always got a question for me most of the time. Appreciate that. If you've made it this far in the podcast, I really appreciate you. And remember to like the video. Really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new here. Throw some comments down below. Give me some Q&As. Let me know if I should be doing another castle build or a different set to break up the castles. Just let me know what you think of the podcast. Give me ideas if you want for the channel, like Matt is Jay's accessory idea. I'm always open to ideas. Yeah, let me know how your day is going if you'd like. Make sure you keep your health in check. But yeah, I really appreciate all of you. If you made it this far, thank you very much. And hopefully you all have a good day. This will be a Friday this gets launched. So have a good day, and we will see you Sunday evening. Take care.